So hello everyone. So this is the video presentation for the paper Darknet and Bitcoin de-anonymization emerging development. So this is a short survey paper. So in this presentation, I will first introduce the background and the motivation of the research. And this short survey paper introduced and summarized the latest development technologies and methods used to de-anonymize Darknet and Bitcoin. And I will also answer the questions from TPC. So Darknet websites are a type of website allow anonymous transactions between anonymous users. So users connect to the darknet anonymously, and they can make transactions also anonymously. So this website, they accept cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin as the major payment method. And this website, the Darknet website, they are built on hidden services such as Tor. So they are often the one base for a variety of crimes, such as money laundering, child pornography, illicit drug trafficking. So because the transactions on Darknet website are anonymous. So, so behind such crimes, it's very difficult for law enforcement agencies to backtrack the real users behind these crimes. So de-anonymization is a strategy that anonymous data is cross-referenced with other publicly available data sources, such as social media, ClearNet, or some public search engines such as Google, in order to re-identify, to reveal the anonymous data source. So this figure, which is revised based on another research paper, and also this one part of our survey paper, shows the relationship and the working process of Tor, so which is a hidden service. Most of the Darknet are built upon Tor hidden service. So Tor is an open source project which provides anonymous service for TCP applications such as web browsers. So Tor directs internet traffic through a free, worldwide, and voluntary basis network. So this network, which you can see over here, this is a Tor network. So this Tor network consists of thousands or even millions of volunteer nodes, which of course they are also anonymous all over the world. So for example, if Bob runs an illegal drug website on the darknet, so Bob is a dealer, a drug dealer, want to sell illicit drug for profit. So Alice is a buyer. So Alice wants to buy illicit drug from Bob's website, right? So what Alice can do is Alice can connect via hidden service, via Tor network to Bob's website in an anonymous way. So then the illicit drug transaction dealing can be conducted in an anonymous way. So nobody gets to know that Alice is the buyer and Bob is the seller. So in this short survey paper, so we kind of researched, studied, and summarized the latest method, techniques used to de-anonymize Darknet website, especially the focus on how to de-anonymize hidden service of Tor. And to summarize, we introduced, for example, like how to detect the leaks from this dark website, and how to use cell manipulation. So that is a technique used to manipulate the cell nodes on the Tor network. Join markets, Silk Road. So these are among two of the famous dark markets as an example. And the Bitscope and Trolley. So these are two latest research work on de-anonymization. So as an example, so how to detect leaks from Darknet? So then we, this is a figure based on an article that we researched on. So this shows 3 steps or 3 paces of how to detect leaks on Tor hidden service. So it first takes a list of onion URLs. So what is onion URLs? So for Tor, the hidden service, sometimes we also call it onion browser, onion network, or onion routers. Right? So onion is a layered encrypted service that is the technique also behind Tor. So then exploring the hidden services, visit each of these URL. So this is a address, website address in the extended set through Tor, and also connect the response used to process the response and store these pages and requests into a database. So this is the first phase. So the second phase is candidate selection. So based on this input, so this approach further extract an onion address from so which are a list of candidates internet endpoint. So for Tor, the hidden service, the onion network, there's the entry and there's the endpoint for the network. So the entry is where a user, for example, I use Google search engine. So then I'm on the ClearNet, right? So at some point when I use switch to use the hidden service, so that is an entry point where I entered the onion network. There's some exit point. That is a point when the traffic relate to Bob's website. So, so the internet endpoint contained in the onion pages of a hidden service. So these are the potential or the candidates with a high probability for the hidden server, right? So what is a hidden server? The hidden server is like Bob's. So what is the server that's used by Bob to host his website? So that is the hidden server. And the third phase is further extract some distinctive string from the content of the onion pages of the hidden service. Then by looking up this unique, maybe unique, somehow unique strings in search engines like Google search. And this search engine will return with internet site where they have observed those strings. And they are DNS domains are the candidates, internet endpoint. So in this survey paper, we also summarized, studied the latest de-anonymization techniques used for cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. So including graph analysis, these addresses, heuristic approaches, the mixers, coin join mixers, and some data-driven approaches, and some artificial intelligence approaches, and clustering, and the neural network. Take the first one as an example, graph analysis. So this is a figure based on a research paper shown over here. So this is a graph analysis framework used to de-anonymize users' identities using public available information, such as the Bitcoin forum users and their public keys. So you know Bitcoin cryptocurrencies use public key scheme. So the public keys are the addresses used to receive receive Bitcoins. So the public keys are publicly available. So that's some information that we can use. And I use this publicly available information to construct a transaction graph using public key addresses. So as I said, there's public keys. Public keys are the addresses used to receive Bitcoins. So we can construct a transaction graph where the public key is a node, and the transaction between two nodes, there's an edge between two nodes, two public keys. So this is a transaction. And the next step is to construct a user graph. We also call it an entity graph. So user graph, which is different from transaction graph. So in transaction graph, a vertex is a public key. So, but in user graph, a vertex represents a user's physical, a user or physical entity, and the edges represent a transaction between a source user and a target user. So next step, use PageRank. So this is a well-known algorithm proposed by Google, used to determine the most influential websites in the ClearNet. And now this research use PageRank algorithm to determine the most interesting nodes. So here a node is a public key, or is a user, is an entity in the Darknet, in the Bitcoin transaction. So the next step is user de-anonymization. So now, so the research used a publicly known address of the FBI used to seize Silk Road, and use this known address backtrack from the transactions to uncover Bitcoin forum users. So for the two questions, the first question is, do you have any information on the prevalence of darknet in the overall internet, in the percentage of bandwidth? So actually, the data on the darknet and deep web and how they relate to the surface web, ClearNet, are not clear. But for Tor project, so Tor does provide some analysis on the bandwidth of Tor, so which is available on this website. So the statistics shows by countries, so what is the percentage of the Tor traffic come from a specific country, such as the United States, and also shows statistics about so what is the traffic at a specific time period. The second question is, can you propose a device or service which could capitalize on the approaches you listed? So for these approaches that were listed in the survey paper, so actually most of them will be used for cracking crimes, to deal with crimes. Some of the approaches were used by the FBI when they investigate the darknet cases, such as Silk Road, such as Plague Pen. So these criminal cases. And the FBI used a set of tools, which is NIT, network investigation tools or techniques. Is a set of digital tools used by FBI to investigate darknet and cryptocurrency transactions and for evidence connection. And thank you all.